Hi, I'm Andy Ridgway. I'm a senior lecturer in science communication at the university. So I teach science communication and predominantly science writing. Within the science communication unit, we run a couple of courses through Blackboard. So we have students who are remote to us. They can be anywhere from New Zealand to Australia to Madagascar. Yeah, we've got a student from Madagascar this year, across Europe as well. So these are people who want to know more about science communication and are often in work or are just starting their careers, so they're yet to find work. We run a couple of courses. One's a writing course and another looks at other forms of science communication. So things such as running events for the public, working with science museums, science centres, that sort of thing. So we run those courses remotely, we run them purely online. So Blackboard Collaborate is quite an important tool for us. The things that it allows us to do in the first instance is to build up a bit of a kind of cohort identity. So these groups of participants are geographically spread, they could be anywhere. So we want them to get a sense of identity, to encourage them to share ideas and have discussions with one another, because we do offer forums as well and provide forums. And we find that if they know each other in some sense as they start, then it helps with that. So Collaborate, we often run sessions right at the start of the session, just really to get to know everybody and so that everyone can get a feel and talk to one another. It's quite useful in that you don't just have to talk, because some of our students, they may not have the technology to be able to talk using their computers through Collaborate, but we can use the chat function to enable them to still contribute to sessions. And we also use the sort of workspace area, they can add in comments there. So as someone who runs those sessions, it is a little bit different to delivering sessions live, in that in some respects you're kind of pulling everything together and trying to narrate it so that there is some kind of, I feel like there should be some kind of continuity to everything so that everyone doesn't feel they're having to look at lots of different things at the same time. You're providing some kind of narration for this. So that's proved to be quite effective, just to build that cohort identity. So we have sessions right at the start that are less about them learning specific things and more about just getting to know one another, to know where each other are in the world, to know perhaps the experience that they have and also what they're looking to get out of the course. But as the course develops, there are certain ways that we can use Collaborate. So firstly, it's a really effective tool for giving feedback. So if students write a piece of work for me, I can then go through it and live in the session talk my way through what's been written, how it's been written and how they might go about it differently. And it means that several people at the same time can benefit from that. And there can also be questions answered live if people are unsure of what you're explaining. And that's another area where Collaborate's quite effective, because when your participants are around the world, within a live session, when you know your students and you're seeing their faces and how they're responding, you instantly know whether something's resonating, whether you've actually explained something effectively or you're just being greeted with lots of puzzled faces. So with an online course, the challenge is to know how effectively you've communicated what it is that you're trying to convey. So Collaborate can be a good way of trying to firstly provide feedback, but also to get an understanding of knowledge and understanding on certain key topics. So we run quite a few sessions where we ask participants to bring in examples of things, so either examples of good practice or examples of sort of bad practice in terms of writing or other forms of science communication, so that they can show them in those sessions and then we can discuss them. We also have discussions, it could be discussions about sort of ethical issues or how they might tackle a certain subject area, such as how they might communicate risk, stories that relate to risk. And then it means that they can go into breakout areas and discuss in small groups their thoughts on this topic, and then bring together those discussions at the end of the session, so that we sort of draw together a sort of class list of ideas and suggestions. So there is flexibility in that way. The challenges that we face are that our participants are around the world. So like I said before, they're often on different continents. So New Zealand, Madagascar, across Europe with different time zones, across the US with different time zones as well. So getting everybody together at the same time with a scheduled collaborate session is challenging. But what we try and do is offer more than one session, so that if we spread, say, 2 or 3 sessions out along our working day, then hopefully we'll catch several different time zones. Because the other aspect of this is quite a few of our participants are working as well. So it's not just a question of catching them when they're awake, it's also a question of catching them when they're actually available to take part in a session, so either in lunch breaks or during the evening. But we use, just as a suggestion, we use Doodle Poll quite a lot. So we suggest certain times and dates and ask them to effectively vote for the most common ones. If any participants can't make it, because being honest about it, we can't schedule sessions necessarily so that everybody can participate, and there are just some people who we can't provide that for. One thing that we do is record the sessions and make those available as soon as feasibly possible, so that anyone who can't make it can still take part in sessions. And now we've been running the course for or the courses for about 3 or 4 years, and I don't think we've ever had anyone who's been upset about the fact that they've not been able to take part. And I think they've kind of benefited from the fact that we've recorded those sessions as well. So that's it. I hope that's useful.